Okay, joining me now from the watchdog group Americans for Public Trust, Executive Director Sutherland. Caitlin, it's good to see you. Okay, so your group is battling for transparency from the Biden White House. The White House again, cites climate change for Adalia and Maui. But if they care that much, why is U.S. climate envoy John Kerry again flying every month around the world? And why is Pete Buttigieg flying on polluting jets to talk about climate change?
Well, thank you for having me. So last year, Americans for Public Trust helped determine that Pete Buttigieg was excessively using a taxpayer-funded jet. But that was only part of the story. We still didn't know how much it cost the taxpayers. So we filed Freedom of Information Act requests to determine how much of your money was spent flying Buttigieg and his staffers around the country. And every step of the way, the FAA has stonewalled our requests, forcing us to file a lawsuit to compel them to release the records to figure out how much his private jets have cost the taxpayers.
So your FOIA lawsuit, you're the ones who found out he's flown at least 18 times using private jets from the FAA, right? So the Biden White House is stonewalling that, right? I mean, John Kerry testified recently. He, too, is stonewalling about what exactly his office is doing, who's on his payroll. Show the viewer again how often Kerry flies. He flies every month. He's been now meeting with global oil and gas leaders to urge them to bring plans on climate change to the upcoming UN climate summit. But, since over the last generation or so, he's been flying around the world multiple times a month on polluting airplanes.
That's exactly right. The Biden administration pledged to be one of the most transparent administrations, but we have found that has been anything but. And here we have a government agency, the FAA, stonewalling the release of these records. It's absurd.
So let me talk about the documents you're getting. So the FAA, I want to understand this. Your group is finding out that the FAA has, in fact, located 32 pages of documents. But when are they going to hand that over to you guys?
That's a great question. These documents should have been handed over months ago, but the FAA is dragging their feet, giving us excuse after excuse every step of the way. And we just found out they need 10 weeks to produce 32 pages. Could you imagine if you or I needed 1 week to work on 3 pages of work? We would absolutely get fired. But this is nothing new for the Biden administration, completely protecting Pete Buttigieg and the cost of these taxpayer-funded private jets.
So it sounds like you're not going to get them until Halloween. I mean, didn't you work on this like a year ago and put in this request over a year ago? So they're continuing to stonewall. It's like they're blowing off the American people.
Well, what's ironic about this is that we are trying to determine the cost of the flight, and they are wasting taxpayer dollars by just bringing this to a lawsuit. They should have been transparent months ago. And again, this is coming around the time that Pete Buttigieg is supposed to be flying commercial, but turns out he's flying private across the country when you and I do not have the option to fly private. It is way more convenient and way for him, but way more expensive to the taxpayers, what he has been doing.
Got it. Caitlin Sutherland, thanks for bringing the story to us. We'll keep monitoring it. Up next.